Long ago, in the vibrant land of Mzimba, nestled between sprawling savannas and towering baobab trees, there lived a humble woman named Nia. She was known throughout the land not only for her fresh produce, but also for her unwavering commitment to honesty. Each day, as the golden sun rose over the hills, Nia would load her basket with vibrant yams, ripe mangoes, beans, and other crops harvested from her family's modest farm. With these balanced gracefully on her head, she would make her way to the village market. The market of Mzimba was a colorful, bustling place. Traders from all over the region came to sell their goods. Herbs from the mountains, beads from the coastal tribes, and the fragrant spices from faraway lands. It was a place of lively exchange, but also one where deception often lurked, as some traders sought to profit dishonestly. Yet amidst this hustle and bustle, there stood Nia's simple stall, which drew villagers and travelers alike. Nia's honesty was legendary. If a fruit had a blemish or a vegetable was overripe, she would point it out without making a sale. "Here," she would say, handing a customer a yam. "This one is better. The one you've picked may rot soon." Many of the other merchants found Nia's approach foolish. "Why tell them?" one said to her one day. "They won't know unless you show them. You could make more calories if you didn't speak up." But Nia only smiled, her eyes calm and wise. A cell born from deceit doesn't last. It is better to earn less and sleep peacefully than to gather riches and be restless. One sunny afternoon, as Nia was arranging a basket of papayas, an elder from a neighboring village approached her stall. He was a man of few words, his weathered hands speaking to years of labor in the fields. He picked up a plump yam and inspected it closely. "How much for this yam, my daughter?" he asked in a deep, raspy voice. Nia smiled warmly and replied, "It's 2 calories, babu. But let me show you another. This one has a soft spot you may not have noticed." She quickly replaced the yam with a fresher one, holding it up with pride. The elder was taken aback by her forthrightness. He had traveled far, visiting many markets, and in most places, merchants would have happily sold him a bruised yam without a word. "Why would you tell me that?" he asked curiously. "You could have kept the coin, and I would never have known." Nia replied with a soft smile. "My mother always said, truth is the foundation of trust. Without it, no matter how much wealth one has, they are truly poor." The elder nodded slowly, his eyes softening with admiration. He purchased not only the yam, but several other items from Nia's stall. But before he left, he whispered a blessing over her goods, calling on the ancestors to bring prosperity to Nia's family. The exchange felt like nothing more than an ordinary day. But from that moment on, word of Nia's honesty began to spread far and wide beyond Mzimba's borders. Soon, people from neighboring villages began to visit her stall. Some came out of curiosity, wanting to see if the stories were true, while others sought the peace of mind that came with knowing they were dealing with someone they could trust. Though Nia's farm was small, her reputation was growing, and so too was her success. However, not everyone admired Nia's honesty. Among the market traders was a jealous woman named Zuri, whose stall had once been the most popular before Nia's reputation for truthfulness had spread. People flocked to Zuri's stall because she offered lower prices and promised more than she could deliver. But unlike Nia, Zuri often sold old vegetables disguised as fresh, and over time, her deceitful practices caught up with her. Her customers dwindled, and many began to frequent Nia's stall instead. Zuri watched with bitterness as Nia's store was always crowded with buyers, while hers grew increasingly quiet. She seized with jealousy, her anger festering like a wound. How can it be, she muttered to herself one evening, that this simple girl takes all my business without honesty? If I don't do something, soon I'll have no customers left at all. Determined to ruin Nia's reputation, Zuri devised a wicked plan. Early one morning, before the market had opened, Zuri crept to Nia's store and planted a small stolen pouch of cowries in one of the baskets of yams. It was a pouch that had gone missing from another trader, and Zuri knew the merchant was desperately searching for it. Later that morning, as Nia was selling her produce, the furious merchant approached her store, flanked by several village elders. "Nia!" the merchant shouted, his voice filled with accusation. "Someone stole a pouch of my cowries yesterday, and I was told by a witness that they saw it at your store. You've been pretending to be honest, but now I know the truth." Nia's heart skipped a beat. "Stolen cowries?" she said, confused. "I have not taken anything from anyone. You know me. I would never..." Before she could finish, one of the elders stepped forward and began searching through Nia's basket. To Nia's horror, the elder pulled out the small patch of cowries from the basket of yams. The crowd gasped in disbelief. "Here it is," the elder exclaimed, holding the pouch high for everyone to see. The villagers who had gathered around began to murmur. "Could it be true?" they whispered. "Has Nia been deceiving us all along?" Nia felt a wave of panic wash over her. She knew she was innocent, but how could she prove it? Tears welled up in her eyes, but she stood tall. "I swear on the memory of my ancestors," she said firmly. "I did not take that pouch. Someone must have placed it there to frame me." The elders exchanged skeptical glances. The merchant demanded justice, insisting that Nia be punished for her deceit. But one elder, the wise and fair chief Bomani, raised his hand to quiet the crowd. "Let us not be hasty," he said. "We know Nia's reputation, and we know she has always been honest. There must be an explanation." The tension in the air was thick as the elders deliberated. Nia could feel the weight of the villagers' eyes on her, and the knot in her stomach tightened. Zuri, watching from the shadows, smiled to herself, confident that Nia's downfall was near. Just then, a young boy from the village stepped forward, his face pale and nervous. "I have something to say," he stammered, his voice shaking. I saw Zuri this morning, before the market opened. She was near Nia's store, and I saw her hide something in the basket of yams." The crowd gasped again, and all eyes turned to Zuri, who immediately looked panicked. "That's not true," she shouted. "This boy is lying." But Chief Bomani silenced her with a stern look. "If what the boy says is true, then we have found the real thief," he said. "Let us search Zuri's store." When the elders searched Zuri's store, they found more stolen goods hidden among her produce, items that had gone missing from other traders over the past few weeks. The villagers erupted in shock and outrage, and Zuri's guilt was undeniable. I only wanted my customers back," Zuri stammered, trembling as the truth of her actions became clear. "I didn't think..." "You didn't think that honesty would prevail?" Chief Bomani asked gravely. Nia's integrity is what earned her the trust of this village, not deception. Zuri was led away in shame, and Nia was vindicated. The villagers, filled with relief, flocked to her stall once more, offering words of support and apology for doubting her. Nia, though shaken by the ordeal, smiled gratefully and assured them all that they were forgiven. One fateful morning, as Nia was setting up her stall, a traveler appeared before her. His clothes were tattered and worn, his feet covered in dust, and his face weathered by the sun. He carried a small empty sack, and his eyes, though tired, sparkled with intelligence. "Good morning, sister," the traveler said, his voice gentle but weary. "How much for a loaf of bread?" Nia looked at the man. Noticing the exhaustion etched on his face, it was clear that he had traveled far, and it seemed he had little to his name. "The bread is 1 cowrie," she said, her voice softening, "but it looks like you might need more than you can afford. Take it. You do not need to pay me." The traveler stared at her in disbelief. "You would give me the bread for free?" Nia nodded. "Yes. No one should go hungry when I have food to share." The traveler's expression softened, and with a grateful smile, he accepted the loaf. "Your kindness will not be forgotten," he said before disappearing into the crowd. Nia returned to her daily business, thinking nothing more of the encounter. But fate, it seemed, had taken notice. Months passed, and Nia continued to prosper. Her small farm, though still humble, was thriving, and she remained as honest and fair as ever. One day, however, a commotion spread through the market like wildfire. Drums beat loudly, and the sound of singing filled the air. A royal entourage had arrived in Mzimba, and at its head was none other than the king's son, the heir to the throne. The villagers gathered in awe as the prince's caravan stopped before Nia's stall. The prince, tall and regal, stepped forward, his eyes warm with recognition. "Do you remember me, Nia?" he asked, his voice carrying through the quieted market. Nia looked at the prince, confused. He was dressed in royal garments now, but there was something familiar in his eyes. Slowly, realization dawned. You were the traveler," she whispered in disbelief. The prince smiled. "Indeed, I was. I was traveling in the kingdom in disguise, seeking to learn about the people I will one day rule. You did not know who I was, yet you treated me with kindness and honesty. For that, I have returned to reward you." Nia stood speechless as the prince's attendant unfurled a royal decree. "Henceforth," the prince declared, "you will be the official supplier of produce to the royal court. The king's men will assist you in expanding your farm, and your family shall live in prosperity." The villagers gasped, and Nia, humbled beyond words, bowed deeply. "Your Highness, I only did what I believe is right. I did not expect any reward." The prince placed a hand on her shoulder. "It is precisely because of your selflessness and honesty that you are worthy of this reward. In a world where many seek to deceive for gain, you have shown that integrity is a true path to success." From that day on, Nia's farm grew into one of the most prosperous in the kingdom. But even with her newfound wealth and royal favor, Nia remained the same. She still walked to the market each morning with her basket balanced on her head, still spoke nicely to every customer, and still gave to those in need. For Nia knew that the true reward of honesty was not wealth or royal titles, but the respect and trust of the people she served. And so, the tale of Nia, the honest market woman, became legend across the land. Her story was told around village fires and sung in the fields as a reminder to all that honesty, though sometimes difficult, is the greatest policy of all. For it brings not only prosperity, but also the love and trust of the community, a wealth far greater than gold or cowries. Let me know the lessons you have drawn from this story in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Kindly like, subscribe, share and suggest a storyline you would like us to capture in subsequent videos. Bye!